Welcome back to British Accent Podcast. Today, we're diving into a topic that's not often talked about, the silent pain of being the strongest one in the room. You know, that feeling when everyone looks up to you, depends on you, but no one really sees the struggles you're quietly carrying. It's tough, isn't it?
Absolutely, Emily. There's this expectation to always be composed, to handle everything without breaking, which can be exhausting. It's like carrying a weight that nobody else notices because you never show the cracks. It's a kind of loneliness that comes with strength.
Yeah, and for English learners, this feeling can be doubled. Sometimes you're the one helping others with their language, or maybe you're the first in your family or group trying to improve your skills. The pressure to stay strong can make it harder to admit when you're struggling.
Definitely. And that pressure can silence you, making it harder to ask for help or take the time you need to recharge. But recognizing this silent pain is the first step to easing it. It's okay not to be okay all the time. You're human after all.
Exactly, Nick. I think a lot of people forget that being strong doesn't mean being invincible. Sometimes, it's about knowing when to pause and take care of yourself. Even the strongest need a break, a moment to breathe without feeling guilty.
And that's something we don't often hear. It's almost like admitting you're struggling feels like failing, but really, it's part of being resilient. It's okay to show vulnerability, to share those quiet moments of difficulty.
For learners, especially, it's important to remember that progress isn't always a straight line. Sometimes you have to slow down, or step back to come back stronger. And being the strongest sometimes means being honest about where you are, not just where you want to be.
Yeah, and reaching out for support doesn't make you weak, it actually takes courage. Whether it's talking to a friend, joining a study group, or even just taking a day off to rest, these actions help keep that strength sustainable.
So if you're feeling like the strongest person in your circle, but also feeling quietly overwhelmed, know that you're not alone. It's okay to carry that weight, but don't carry it by yourself all the time. Sometimes, sharing the load can lighten the burden.
And being kind to yourself during those times can make a big difference. Treat yourself with the same compassion you'd offer a friend who's going through a tough patch. That's part of true strength.
Absolutely, Nick. That compassion we show to others is exactly what we need to extend to ourselves. When we're learning English or facing any challenge, self-kindness can transform how we handle setbacks and doubts.
Right. Instead of beating ourselves up over mistakes or slow progress, we can pause and acknowledge our efforts. Every small step forward counts, especially when the journey feels tough and we're carrying more than we realize.
And sometimes, those silent struggles aren't visible to others. You might be smiling, participating, even excelling, but inside, you might be fighting off fatigue, stress, or pressure. Recognizing this helps us be more patient and gentle with ourselves.
That's a powerful reminder. We don't always have to be the loudest or the most noticeable person in the room. Strength can also be quiet resilience, the choice to keep going even when it's hard, to keep showing up even when no one sees the battle behind the scenes.
Exactly. And when we talk about English learning, this means accepting that every learner has moments of struggle and strength. It's not about perfection or constant progress, but about honoring where you are right now.
And allowing yourself space to rest and recharge is essential. Without that, the weight of being the strongest can become too much, leading to burnout. Taking breaks isn't giving up, it's part of sustaining your journey.
Totally agree, Nick. And you know, sometimes just sharing those feelings with someone else can lighten the load. Whether it's a friend, a fellow learner, or even a podcast like this, knowing you're not alone makes a huge difference.
Yeah, having that connection can remind us that strength doesn't mean going it all alone. It means knowing when to ask for support or simply acknowledging that life's tough sometimes.
Plus, in the context of learning English, those moments of vulnerability often lead to breakthroughs. When we stop pretending we've got it all figured out, we open ourselves up to real growth.
Exactly, and it's those authentic moments, when we embrace the struggle instead of hiding it, that build real confidence over time.
So, if you're feeling like the strongest one in your room, remember it's okay to feel that silent pain. It's a sign you care deeply, and that you're pushing through. And that's something to be proud of.
And it's important to remember, being strong doesn't mean you have to carry everything by yourself. Even the strongest people need a moment to breathe, to recharge.
Absolutely. Sometimes strength is just showing up each day, even when it feels exhausting. And that kind of quiet resilience is powerful in its own way.
Yeah, and learning English while carrying that weight? It's a real challenge, but also a way to channel your energy into something positive.
Right, it becomes more than just learning a language. It's about building a better future, even when the present feels heavy.
And that slow progress, that small win every day, it all adds up. It's okay if it doesn't feel like much right now. The key is to keep going.
Exactly, and sometimes the strongest step you can take is to simply acknowledge how hard it is. No need to pretend it's easy.
Yeah, embracing the struggle makes you stronger in the long run. It's part of the journey, not a sign of weakness.
And when you think about it, being the strongest often means you're the one others look up to. That's a lot of responsibility, but also a chance to inspire.
True. Your perseverance can motivate someone else who's struggling silently. Sometimes just knowing someone else is holding on can make all the difference.
It's like your English learning journey reflects that strength. Every new word, every conversation, it's a step forward despite everything going on.
And even if progress feels slow or invisible, it's still progress. The strongest people know that patience is part of strength.
Yeah, it's about showing up, even when it's tough, and being kind to yourself along the way.
Because real strength isn't about being perfect or unbreakable. It's about staying real, staying human, and moving forward no matter what.
Exactly, Nick. Sometimes the strongest people are the ones carrying the heaviest loads, and they do it quietly. That silence can be lonely, but it also builds a kind of resilience that's hard to see from the outside.
Right, and that resilience often comes from knowing when to push and when to step back, to recharge. It's not about being tough all the time, it's about balance.
And that balance can make all the difference in learning English or anything else. When life feels overwhelming, giving yourself permission to rest is just as important as pushing forward.
Absolutely. It's a journey, not a race. Recognizing your limits and being patient with yourself helps sustain that strength over the long haul.
So, even in those quiet moments when you feel like the strongest person in the room, remember you're not alone. Many are walking the same path, carrying their own silent battles.
And reaching out, sharing your story, or just acknowledging how you feel can lighten that load a bit. Strength doesn't mean you have to do it all by yourself.
That's a really important point, Nick. Sometimes, just talking about it, or admitting it to yourself can ease the pressure. It's like giving yourself a little break, even if things don't change right away.
Yeah, and in terms of English learning, that quiet strength helps you keep going when progress feels slow. You might not notice huge leaps every day, but those small steps add up.
Exactly. And it's okay to have days where you just breathe and don't force anything. That self-compassion keeps your motivation alive for the times you do push forward.
And remember, the strongest people aren't those who never stumble, but those who keep standing up, even if it's just a bit at a time.
So, if you're feeling that silent pressure to be strong all the time, maybe give yourself permission to be human, too. It's part of the process.
Totally, Emily. And I guess part of that is recognizing when you need support, right? Being the strongest doesn't mean going it alone all the time.
Absolutely. Asking for help, or just sharing how you feel can be a relief. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you real.
And in learning English, that might mean reaching out to a friend, joining a group, or even just speaking up in class, even if it feels scary.
Yes, because those connections can lighten the load and give you fresh energy. You're not carrying the weight on your own.
It's also about balancing strength with vulnerability. Both are needed. Sometimes showing vulnerability is the strongest thing you can do.
Definitely. And being strong doesn't mean always having answers. It means being patient with yourself when things are tough.
So, if you're listening and feeling that pressure to be the strongest in your circle, remember, it's okay to lean on others, to rest, and to be imperfect.
That's the quiet strength that helps you keep going, day by day, step by step.
And you know, Emily, sometimes that silent strength comes from just showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Like practicing English on those tough days or simply getting through your routine.
Yeah, those small actions matter more than we realize. They build resilience quietly, without making noise.
And for English learners, it's easy to feel isolated, especially when you think you're the only one struggling while others seem so confident.
Exactly. But the truth is, many are fighting their own battles, even if it's not obvious. That shared experience connects us all.
So maybe the strongest thing is to acknowledge those struggles openly, whether with yourself or others, instead of hiding behind a mask.
Right, and that honesty can open doors to growth, learning, and deeper relationships, both in language and in life.
It reminds me that strength isn't about perfection or being unshakable, it's about being real, persistent, and compassionate, especially with yourself.
And that mindset can change how you approach your English learning journey, making it less of a burden and more of a path filled with meaningful moments.
Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing this moment of honesty and strength. Remember, being the strongest one in the room doesn't mean you have to carry everything alone. Take care of yourself, be kind to your journey, and keep moving forward one small step at a time. We'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.